very hard for the general public and even the professional counselors to accept. We'll talk more about emotions and feelings on other shows with Dr. D. It is now time for the premier event of today's The American Family, and that is our show called Macro Matters with the Macro Gang. Today, we are fortunate to have one of the main members of the Macro Gang, and that is Charles Lewis here with us. Charles, you're on the show and you're live.
Hi, Dennis, how are you?
I'm fine, and I'm delighted that you're here.
Yes.
We have two callers waiting for us, as we'll see, and what I would like you to do is to go ahead and introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your focus, which is social work on the Hill, and I will find out if these are people just listening or if they actually want to call and chat with you. So I'll be back with you in a minute, but you go right ahead. The show is yours.
Hi, this is Charles E. Lewis, Jr., and I am the president of the Congressional Research Institute for Social Work and Policy. And what we're doing is trying to create a stronger presence of social workers on the Hill. I worked for a while for a social worker in Congress, Mr. Former Congressman Edolphus Ed Towns, who served in the Congress from 1982 until he retired in January of 2013. He was a congressman from Brooklyn, New York. He was a social worker, got his MSW from Adelphi University and School of Social Work, and went to Congress. I don't know if he planned to stay for 30 years, but he did stay for 30 years, and he did some good work while he was there. And one of the things he did was to create the Congressional Social Work Caucus. And this caucus consists of members in Congress who are social workers, but many who are not, but who support the ideals and the principles of the profession. And that caucus was created to provide a platform for the 750,000 social workers who labor every day in various environments, providing assistance and support to individuals, families, and children, and often the most vulnerable among us, those who are disabled, those who have mental health problems, substance abuse problems, the aging. And these social workers go about their work very diligently. Many will argue that they are underpaid, and I would probably agree with them. Social workers could be paid more, but they do their work not because they're trying to make a lot of money, but they do their work because they are concerned that everybody in society do not get the same opportunities and do not get the same ability to live productive lives. And so social workers do what we can to change that. But it doesn't all happen on the ground. There's a need to change some of the policies that we are confronted with, and that's why we need to have social workers on the Hill, social workers in Congress, who will work to provide, to inform the policymakers about what is needed for families and for children and for people who
Charles, I'm back with you, and we
Yes.
can certainly pick up on that. And in fact, I believe you're going to be calling a congressman a little bit later on the show. We have a question from a caller, and we don't want
Yes.
to have them wait too long.
Sure,
so
put them on.
Yes, I will. And we'll go right now. Hello, 570. You're live on The American Family Macro Matters with Charles Lewis.
Hello, Charles. I don't know if you remember me. Misha Wooten. I work for Congressman Towns.
Hello?
Yes, this is Demisha Wooten, Irizarry. I don't know if you remember me. I worked for Congressman Towns from 87 to 92. I was his district administrator, and I also worked for his son, Darrell.
Mm-hmm.
I had two questions for you.
Sure.
One was, would you advise social workers on the local level to develop local constituent advisory councils? And my second question is if you could explain what legislative casework is.
Okay. I would say that those social workers on the advisory council, depending on what their purpose would be, I would need to know exactly what they would be doing. Hopefully they would be informing people about some of the issues and maybe looking at some of the people who are running for office and having some input on that. Legislative casework is that occurs in the offices of the Congress people, and different constituents have different concerns and different issues that has to be addressed, and there are people on staff in these congressional offices who does this kind of casework on these legislative issues. Anything else?
I was I was thinking about something like a advisory council on health or an advisory council on education, local issues that Congress people can be involved in.
Yeah, often there are those councils do exist, and they're not just social workers, but certainly social workers should participate in those kind of community advisory councils, community boards. Like I know in New York and Brooklyn, they have the community board, and it's really critical that social workers get involved in that process and attend those meetings and actually get on the board and have a voice for their constituents. Thank you, Ms. Wooten. We have another caller waiting.
Thank you.
While we're waiting, we are going to be doing an event on March 17th on the Hill. We're calling it Social Work Day on the Hill, and hopefully this will be the first of an annual event where social workers are going to gather on the Hill from all walks of life, and we're going to celebrate the fact that we do contribute to the nation's health through our work in Congress and through our work with the federal government. So on March 17th, we're going to have a forum where students are going to lead this effort to talk about the Congressional Social Work Reinvestment Act. And later in the day, we're going to have a reception in the Rayburn building.
Yeah, hello.
Mr. Towns, this is Charles Lewis.
Hey, yes, Charles, how you doing?
Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, you got me. I'm okay.
Okay, well, we're on
and just let me, this is also Dr. D, you're live on a Blog Talk radio show, The American Family. I'm delighted to have you here with Charles Lewis.
Oh, thank you very much.
Charles.
Yeah, and we were talking about the importance of having social workers on the Hill, and that social workers contribute to the work of Congress and the federal government. And so if you did that for such a long time, maybe you could say a few words about why it's important for social workers to be involved in the federal government.
Well, first of all, people do not know what social workers do. And when you look at the social workers training, I mean, there's nobody more qualified to run for office or to be involved in government than social workers. when it comes to dealing with people, human behavior, and being able to deal with groups, all these things that social workers are highly qualified to do. And however, social workers basically feel that they should not be involved in terms of leadership positions, but to be very supportive. And so what we're trying to do, more than anything else, is to give them the exposure, let them see in terms of what's going on the Hill and how they can make a difference in a major way.
Okay, I wrote a blog post this morning, Congressman, and I still call you Congressman, although you're a former Congressman. And I raised the questions: is social workers part of the solution or part of the problem? And what I was focusing on is that we really need to be more active politically. And if we're not active politically, are we really part of the solution?
Right. Yeah, well, actually, we need to be part. We need to be part of the solution, and one way to be part of the solution is to be active. But there's a natural kind of thing with social workers. They do not believe in getting out front and tooting their own horn. That's the kind of thing that needs to be done. Social workers generally will do things and not say anything or let anybody know. So the point is that we need to recognize that being out front, tooting our own horn, makes a difference, because the contribution that social workers make, over the years, when you look and you see in terms of different agencies that they've been involved in, and now when you look in more and more into that they're making that kind of contribution, and we're just sort of laid back. And I think that the point is that the time has come when we need to step out front and begin to say, this is what needs to happen. And it's almost the fact that social workers just love to work, just love to do, but don't really look forward to stepping out front and being involved in leadership. And that's what we need to start talking with social workers now about, stepping out, being involved in leadership, and they can make a difference. The skill set is just unbelievable in terms of this kind of work.
So would you like to see more social workers running for political office?
I definitely would like to see more social workers running for office. And also to say that at every level, that's starting at the local level, running the federal level. We need to encourage them to do that. And once we get them involved, and then they realize in terms of the kind of contribution that they can make, and I think that we will see a lot of positive things happen along the way. They know a lot about budgets. They know a lot about the needs of people. They know a lot about these programs. And we need to have them involved in terms of making certain that they continue and that they do what they're supposed to do. The programs we're talking about.
I was talking about the Social Work Day on the Hill that we're organizing for March 17th before you came on the phone. And one of the people who are going to be there will be Christy Holmes, who's out in California. And she actually ran
for office. Yeah,
she ran for Henry Waxman's old seat.
That's correct.
Right.
Well,
and she did well. She didn't win, but she said she did very well.
Sometimes you have to just get out there and make a statement, and that serves a purpose. And I don't think anybody can make a statement better than social workers. Based on who they work with, what they do, and how they do it. And I think that her running for Congress is a major step, and I hope everybody will look at that and say, wait a minute, social workers are now beginning to make a difference. And the other thing is too is that there's over 700,000 social workers in the United States. I think 752. 7,000. I think 752. I'm not sure the exact number, but it's over 700,000. is over 700,000.
Right.
In the United States. Well, that's a number that can make a difference in a major way, and we're going to continue. I've been involved in encouraging social workers to run for office, run city council, run for the school board, run for state house, run for Congress, run for whatever is out there, because you are qualified to do so.
So can you say a little bit about what this event we're doing on the 17th and what you're trying to do with bringing social workers on the Hill?
Yeah, two things. First of all, I've learned over the years, now that I've had opportunities to travel throughout the United States and to be involved in terms of working with various social work groups, I found out that a lot of them don't communicate with each other. So what I'm hoping to be able to do is to pull social workers together that are involved in these different agencies, involved in different regions, and to help them to be able to know each other and to understand how important it is that we work together to make a difference. When you talk to them, you find that our aims, objectives, and goals are basically the same, but we don't know each other, and we don't know in terms of the different heads of these organizations. They don't know each other. So I'm hoping that our Day on the Hill will start that process, bring people together to get them to know each other and talk about how we might be able to strategize to make a difference in a positive way. So we're going to bring students here. We're going to bring people from the heads of these different organizations here, and also to let them see some folks who've been involved in the political process. Ron Dellums, who served here in the Congress for 28 years. We want them to be able to see Ron Dellums, and let them be able to talk to Ron Dellums, to be able to talk to Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee, who serves here, a social worker. Let us see Barbara Mikowski. I mean, and let them see some of these folks who are on the Hill making a difference in a major way. So that's what we hope to do. And I'm excited about it because the response has been tremendous. People want to get to know each other. People want to see in terms of what we can work together on, and as social workers. So it's going to be an exciting day.
So while
Congressman Charles?
Yes.
Well, go ahead. We need to wrap this up. I was just going to make a comment, but why don't you go ahead with this as your last point?
Yeah, I want to thank former Congressman Edolphus Ed Towns, who served Brooklyn for 30 years in the House of Representatives, for joining us this afternoon for this conversation. Thank you, Mr. Towns.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And Charles, thank you, and we're glad that you're having this event coming up. It is things like that make our country go forward and really is a positive thing for the legislative process. We don't hear enough about those type of things. Charles, you did an excellent job. You're a great commentator for Macro Matters. Thank you for coming and being part of the American family. We're delighted to have you.
It was my pleasure.
And I hope you come back.
Okay.
Listeners, we have another show coming up here in a month on Macro Matters, and we'll have several other members of the Macro Gang. It's now time to journey on. The American family has been with you for a while this afternoon, and we look forward to having you join us again. Travel well, folks.